bearing witness to a certain reality at a certain point of time, as simple as that. So the challenge for me is this playing between two visions. The first vision of a visual that can be simplistic at first stage, but on the other stage, the viewer might have to wonder.
Lebanese artist Zena Assi was born in Beirut in 1974. After working in advertising and university teaching, she now devotes herself to her powerful, distinctive paintings, sculptures and animations, which combine the abstract with the most detailed portraiture. Very much an urban artist, her work is instinctive, often experimental, reflecting her own reactions to the cities she has encountered.
I'm a very impatient artist and I'm very curious. So I like to experiment a lot, and I don't like to limit myself in a frame or in a definition, or even to be tagged that I only work portrait or abstract or painting or animation. So I jump a lot, and I follow more my instinct than any other logical thought. I've always lived in a city, and I try to portray the cities I've encountered and lived in. And to be able to put a city, an old city like Beirut or Jbel, Byblos, or any of these Middle Eastern cities, you need to put all the layers that you encounter in the city. You need to walk through their streets and get the feel and the sound and the smells. And Byblos is one place where I find they kept the traditional spirit and the character. This is why, in a way, I tend to give importance to the walls of a city. A wall is the best storyteller. It can tell you what the city has been through, all the eras. It can tell you through the scratches, through the holes, through the graffiti, through the drawings, through the posters that are glued on the wall.
Zena's intimate love-hate relationship with the city is immediately evident in her cityscapes.
I have to be in control all the time when I'm doing the city, because it's such a layered process. You have collage, you have tags, you have drawings, and you have my mood.
يراقبان التطورات المتسارعة في المنطقة وضمان حقوق لدى الأمم المتحدة.
In collaboration with Amandine Brenes and Yelo, in the Paintings in Motion animation, these images are brought vividly to life, giving another layer to her multifaceted interpretation of cityscapes.
The camera is traveling inside, and I wanted to show how a city like Beirut can suck you in a way, you know. And what is lovely about animation, what I find very interesting, is the fact that you still can control your elements and your puppets and whatever you want to add, you can add it with the sound, with the whisper. I didn't want to put any kind of music in my animation because this is not what you feel when you're walking down the street.
With her Put in a Pot series of big bouquets of flowers in pots, Zena shows her ability to address the natural world, asking questions about our relationship with the environment and attempts to control it. Even here, there is a restlessness, a questioning of how nature fits within an urban setting, and whether a balance can be maintained.
My bouquets, I never tried to portray them on an empty canvas. I look around us now, and the nature, especially in Lebanon, is not purely green and red and pink and yellow. The dust and the sun and the time has taken its place on the nature that surrounds us. My canvas, what I do as a first stage, I lay it horizontally. I keep it for few months or even a year. I work on it, other pieces, I step on it, I drink my coffee on it, I wash my brushes on it, and I let the dust rest on it. And this way, time will show once it's ready, once it has some kind of a story to tell by itself. This is when I stretch it and I put it vertically, and I only have to see the flowers popping up by themselves.
Zena's portraits, some painted from life, sometimes from photographs or even a memory, all have an immediacy that places them in the now, where their stillness anticipates a future sitters continue to wait for.
The portrait is a theme that is always coming back in my work, whether on my canvases or as a sculpture or in an animation. I think sometimes it's important to show the common man. So sometimes I work from a model in front of me, sometimes I work from pictures, sometimes I work from images in my head, from a souvenir of a person that I wouldn't need for him to be in front of me. I just need the memory of him to show in my work.
In her stunning mixed media work, Flies on the Wall, over a series of 25 paintings, Zena brilliantly highlights the dehumanizing effects of images of war by deconstructing the victims of brutality and reassembling them as so many squashed bugs.
And with my bug series, I did images of soldiers, but they're not really soldiers. They're people who weren't trained to be soldiers. They're people, common people, ordinary people. And I was kind of intrigued by the way we treat them, because we can see all this news through our 2D shiny screen, but in the end what we're hearing is just numbers. Today there was a bomb, 50 were injured, 10 were dead, you know. So in a way, I thought that we are treating them a bit like bugs, that they don't have an identity, that we're not interested in anything that will make them the human that they are.
Now living in London and Beirut, Zena finds herself able to view and interpret events in her home country as both a native and a spectator. Two different cultures and the confusion and conflict arising from no longer living permanently in a conflict zone, have fed her artistic creative spirit, producing an intensity that continues to imbue her work with such emotion.
I moved a couple of years ago to London, but I didn't move completely. I still have my workshop here, and I'm in between. And this stage of being in between two countries is interesting, the least to say, because in a way you get to play both roles. In here, I can see what's happening in the Middle East. In here, I'm an Arab artist. In here, I can claim that I've been through wars and I have the right to talk about it. In here, I have, somehow you are empowered by the drama of war. But when you move out, you are disconnected in a way. You get to play the spectator. And the news I get are not from my neighbor anymore, or from my parents, or from my friends, or from dinner with friends, or from walking on the streets. The news I get from my home country and the Middle East is from my TV screen, or my computer, or my laptop. I'm interested in the now, and I make room in my work for mistakes. I think mistakes are the most important things in a work of an artist, because this is how you surprise yourself. And I never ever try to hide any mistakes I've done, because they have a story of them for themselves to tell, and they add a layer that you will feel in a way visually, or maybe as conceptually, if you want.